I'm Brooke.
I'm Sammy.
This is Moms and Minivans. Welcome.
Welcome. So, Brooke here is the driving force behind this Moms and Minivans thing, and I would like to ask Brooke, what is your vision? Like, when you conceptualized this whole thing, what did you see happening?
3 years ago, our friend Brittany invited us to go. Back then, we went to Swig, and we just would meet one day a week. We'd get sodas, we'd chat, and it made those hard mom weeks bearable, right? It became something that we kind of depended on.
Yeah, for sure.
You and I texted many a times, like, is it
Fizz day yet? Yeah, for sure.
Are we to our Fizz day yet?
Yeah.
Because this week is kicking my butt.
Yes.
So, it kind of occurred to me that this sisterhood that we share as moms is really unique and important and crucial, I feel like, to making it through to raising these tiny humans, right? And the more that we connect and the more that we share our stories, the more similarities we find, the more strength we find, the more connected we are. You know, it helps us to power through those harder times. And I thought about how there have been many a conversation that I've had in my minivan with mom friends just late into the night where it made it easier to want to get up the next day and just keep going. So I thought that we could use that to our advantage and maybe talk with as many moms as we can find and highlight and celebrate their strengths and just help each other along the way.
Perfect. Okay, so let's get to know Brooke a little better. So, let's see. Brooke, what was your dreams before you had kids? And how have those dreams evolved since you started, or since you've had your kids?
That's a good question. I wanted to be a ballerina. That was a really real goal of mine for a long time. But it kind of came to a halt when I got hit with a bout of depression, and I just couldn't really function. Yeah. So that dream kind of fell by the wayside. You know, dreams, like you said, evolve and change and shift. And so I went to school for illustration and art history, studied art history for a while too. Wanted to move to Europe and work in a museum somewhere, and that's when I met BJ. And all of those plans went right down the drain.
Because sometimes the good Lord has different plans for us.
Right.
Which led to you having Elliot, who was actually pretty premature when he was born. He was under 2 pounds, correct?
Yeah, 1 pound, 12 ounces.
So how like that, you were saying that that's like a defining moment of your life, like that has helped shape you into who you are today. So tell us a little bit more about that.
It was just a really hard time. Like, that's not how you expect your first pregnancy to go. And honestly, when I was planning out my pregnancy and his birth, I didn't think of, a teeny tiny little baby spending 2 months in the hospital. But I think it so well explains motherhood. Like, it just never goes like
So true.
You want it to go.
So true.
Never. But you just power through, and sometimes in the moment it's hard to see the blessings and the miracles, but when you look back, they're there and they're obvious and they're beautiful, right?
Yes. Well, and when you first had him, you made preemie clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you and your mom kind of had like a little business with it. So that, to me, is an awesome example of taking something that's hard and making something, good out of it and make some positive out of it.
It's true. Like, that was, the preemie clothes was all my mom. Like, that came from her. I was having a hard time bonding with Elliot. It's hard to feel like that attachment when you're not providing for the basic needs of your child. And so she kind of had the brilliant idea, if I could dress him, then maybe that would help that.
Yeah.
And at the time, there were not, like, even still, you go to Carter's or someplace and buy preemie clothes, and they're
still
made for like 4-pound, 5-pound babies,
right,
not 1-pound babies. So she just went ahead and made her own, and it was amazing.
Okay, Brooke here, like she mentioned earlier, went to school for art, and she is an awesome artist. And one of the things that I feel like it's an extremely, you know, good talent of hers is crafting. And this is absolutely how awesome she is, because I came to her with a silly idea about making a dream catcher into a wreath, and she took my idea and she just...
It was a great idea.
Just did it, and she made it, and it's awesome and beautiful. And
thank you.
Yes, and that's just an example of how talented and crafty Brooke is. And we were talking earlier that when things are hard for you, when, you know, you just don't know how you're gonna get through a day, like, what do you do to cope? You craft.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. The crafting. Always have to have a project. Everybody's got their thing that they use to cope, and that happens to be mine. Which seems great, but is not always the healthiest either.
Yes. So, we are both in a stage of our life where our kids are all in school. We don't have toddlers.
Hallelujah.
We don't have babies.
Yep.
Like, what is this stage of life like for you?
So far, it's been great. My youngest just started first grade, and I miss her. She's been crying about that a lot too. I miss my mommy wheezy time.
Oh, yeah.
I know, it just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
And I miss that time too. Like, I didn't expect to miss it as much as I do. It's true what they say. I always used to roll my eyes when people are like, cherish this time,
So
because
true.
you'll
So
miss
true.
it. It's like, well, yeah, I'm really gonna miss this. But I do. I miss that time with just her. But other than that, it's been great. I love how I don't have to have a diaper bag.
Yes.
I don't have, we
So
have
much, yes.
one car seat in here.
Yes.
Everybody can buckle themselves. They all can wipe their own bums for the most part.
Yes.
I don't have to take a stroller when we go to Disneyland.
Right.
Like, it's amazing so far.
So we talked a little bit about like that defining moment with you with Elliot, and how I'm assuming that was probably one of the hardest things for you as well. Like, it was defining, but also probably one of your greatest trials being a mom. And you mentioned also that it was hard to take that next step to have another child.
Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah, like I was sure that every pregnancy I had would end up the same, and I didn't think I could do it again.
Right.
And so it felt like forever to decide to have Evie, who she was like an angel baby, a gift from God, literally.
For sure.
So, but it was really hard to decide to have her, but I'm so glad that we did, because life wouldn't be nearly as awesome without her.
Right. And then you had more kids after that.
Yeah.
This wasn't like it didn't stop you
Yeah.
from achieving
I could have, but it didn't.
what you want.
Yeah.
Yes. And so it's easy to sit here and talk about all the hard things and the ways we struggle with our kids, and hallelujah, they're gone for the day, like at school. But like for you, what's like the best part? Like, what do you love most about being a mom, about having kids?
I think for me, it's just that I like the people that they are. Like, in those quiet moments when we can just be, like, they're really cool people. They're hilarious. We laugh so hard. They're thoughtful. They're amazing. It makes it all worth it, I think.
And just know that, like, they're like a product of you. Like,
yeah,
it is amazing to be like, you know, I made this.
Yeah. It's funny to see them be so much like us without,
or being so unique as well.
Yeah.
Like us, but also their own unique
Yeah.
person. Like, I feel like that's one of the most interesting things as well, to see all the unique individuals that you've created.
Right.
Like, that they really legitimately
totally
are
different.
their own people.
and have been from
The beginning.
the beginning. Yeah.
They're their own people with their own ideas and their own strengths and weaknesses.
And it's funny to see, or not funny, but interesting to see as they get older, and you can put your finger on like their personality traits a little bit more than to look back to when they were babies and see how those traits were totally there. That you just maybe didn't understand them as well as you do now.
Like with Arya, to me, she was just like a terrible sleeper. Like, she so adamantly got up like every single night, multiple times, to breastfeed. And to see the like super stubborn person that she is now, she's super strong-willed and really like is determined to have her way, you know, and to look back on just like her sleeping habits and see that that's exactly
that's just
who she is from the beginning.
Totally.
Yeah. So there is one question that is probably the most important question of this whole thing.
The whole thing.
What are you drinking?
We had to come to Fizz, obviously, since this is where it all started. Today I got, I think it's on their hidden menu, it's Campfire S'more. It's Coke with chocolate and toasted marshmallow, whipped cream.
So
good stuff.
Everything you need to know about Brooke is in that drink. Just kidding. Anyways. So that was awesome.
I think that pretty much covers it.
Yep.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you. We're awesome at this.
Oh, yeah. So
awesome.
Good. We'll get better.
We'll get better. Peace out.